Hey, good afternoon, everybody, or morning, or evening, or whenever you may be seeing this. If you're not joining us live right now, my name is Brent Hazelton. I'm Milwaukee Chamber Theater's artistic director. Super psyched to be hanging out a little bit today with my good friend Malkia Stampley, who is also, I'm even more psyched, directing our season opening production of Stew in the
Yeah.
Cabin Theater by Zora Howard. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, for context, for those of us who are watching, behind this wall, behind me, is a hallway. On the other side of the hallway is Malkia in the rehearsal hall. So we're close, but not immediately together yet because we're still trying to be as COVID safe as we can in this strange world that we are working in. So Malkia and the actors and the stage managers have been holed up on their side of the hall, and me and the rest of the MCT staff have been sequestered over here. And then next week, we're going to get together in the same theater and start making this thing because we jump into tech.
Dude, next week already.
Yeah. Dude, we open in like 10 days. 10 days.
We'll be ready. We're ready.
Of course you're ready. You're ready now. It's how you are. So talk a little bit about where you are right now. What
Yeah,
is the space you're in?
I am in the rehearsal hall. So stew takes place in the kitchen, and it's just in the kitchen, where all the magic happens in a home, where all the conversations, secrets, and life changing things happen. And so that's where we are. Our set designer M, along with the builder of the set, Ron Scott Fry, along with our production manager, Colin, have made it possible for us to rehearse with a full kitchen. I mean, we're talking refrigerator and stove, and we will have a sink that will run on stage as well. We got it all. It's a kitchen. It's a real kitchen, and we will be cooking on stage, or the cast will. The cast will definitely be cooking, and we're using the fridge. It's operating, so it's exciting. So that's been the bulk, not the bulk of our rehearsal, but we've spent a lot of time. I like to call it kitchenography. Just where does this pot go? Where's that spoon go? Okay, how many vegetables, how many green beans can you snap in this scene? How many celery stalks? That kind of stuff, which has been really fun to do and to work through. And our props designer, Lene Hickman, has been fantastic, just getting all of, so we have the set, but then the props, the pots, the seasonings, the set dressing, we call it. She's just provided us with so many things. So it's been just really fun playing in our kitchen.
Nice. And just calling out Lene for just a second. Milwaukee native and regional theater's like newest props designer, having just graduated from DePaul last spring.
Yes.
So it's really awesome to throw her a gig right away, to get her back in town, pull her back from Chicago, come to Milwaukee one day, which is really good, but so good that she's in there. And just to reinforce a little bit how, just sort of what a rare opportunity this is to actually have a set in the rehearsal hall. I mean, normally there's, mock-ups and approximations and rehearsal furniture and rehearsal pieces, but this show being kind of, as you say, kitchenography is, I mean, it's a prop monster.
It's a whole nother character.
Yeah.
That's what the kitchen is. And you can't do this play or any play that deals with the kitchen without serious consideration of how you're going to utilize that kitchen, and everything is shaped and designed, with that in mind. And our cast has been so adaptable. Our stage managers, Marty, Josh, Isaac, are rocking it. Just because it is a character, we literally have track sheets for the bread bowl or Mama's Good Pot. Where does that end up? Okay, where is it in scene 3, page 79? Like, our stage managers know that stuff. We're on it. It's a tight ship here.
It's amazing. And stage managers, I mean, just a particular shout out to stage managers right now who make the world go, quite literally,
Yeah.
Particularly in situations like this, where as a director, you just want to, because, the sort of narrative engine of the play, right, is making this pot of stew on this very special day. But the play is, of course, about so much more than that. And as a director, you know, you don't want to focus on where the spoons go, and you lose your mind, telling the story. So to have that sort of support is awesome. And Marty and Josh and Isaac are three particularly awesome humans in that regard.
Sure are.
But and just to, throwing some props to Colin Goronsky, our production manager, who from the second we decided we were doing this play, Colin, of their own volition, sort of said, well, we have to get that set in the rehearsal hall. You can't rehearse the play otherwise. And just went out and made that happen. So a really tip of the cap to Colin for facilitating that, which is super rare and super unique. But so, yeah, the play's called Stew. There's some stew that's going to happen. Didn't know you guys were actually cooking. That's fun. But what actually is the play really about?
What is the play really about? It's about the Tucker family. We have 4 women, 3 generations. We have Mama and her 2 daughters, Lillian and Nellie, and her granddaughter, Mama's granddaughter. We call her Little Mama. And they've come together for different reasons, and it's surrounded by cooking this stew on this very special day for Mama. It's this annual event. And while cooking this stew, a lot of family secrets come up. We get to explore family cycles, traditions. What are you carrying on to the next generation and the next? How do you, once you realize that cycle, what do you do to try and break that cycle? Or is there an acceptance of it? Stew is about love, trying to move through hurt, pain, loss through love. Love sometimes can be quite ugly, and sometimes may be hurtful. And so we explore all of that, but through the lens of these 4 amazing women who are family, so they're similar, but yet fighting to all be their own individual selves as well.
One of the things I love so much about this play, it's a play we don't often see in sort of traditional mainstream PWI regional theater, where not only does it center Black women, but 4 fully realized, incredibly human, very nuanced Black women.
Yes, absolutely. And Mama, our character Mama, who's the matriarch of this family, she's a complex woman. She has a lot of different layers to her. I think it's easy to look at a grandmother type of character and think a lot older, someone who is very motherly or completely bitter, or all of these extremes.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case with, I'd say, most of the Black women that I know. And Olivia Dawson, who is playing Mama, is bringing such depth to this character and is reminding us that your mom or a mother figure or someone even in that age range, they have a lot of depth to them. They still want to be loved. They still are learning. They still are getting things wrong, and they still want to be loved and cared for and appreciated. And they don't have it figured out. Our mamas in a lot of plays have it figured out, and that part is great. It's great, of course, but to have this central character, and then right under her daughter, who's in her 30s, that having that as well. It's hard not to think of Raisin in the Sun, one of my most absolute favorite plays. And you have Lena Younger, who is the mama, and then Ruth, Walter Lee's wife, and they're great, but it's also of that era. You don't get to fully explore all of the flaws, all of the complexities of those women, and especially Lena Younger. And I feel like Zora Howard, because of Lorraine Hansberry, has been able to just keep going with that. And that's what this play does. It absolutely does. And one other thing is, I hadn't seen anything like this play before. I love August Wilson. If you don't, something's wrong with you. I believe.
I second that.
Yeah, and his plays, most of them take place in a home, usually in a kitchen or near the kitchen. But they feature mostly or nearly all, it's nearly all men.
Yeah.
And it's of a certain period. This piece, it's current, it's women, and it's still family. We get to go deep like you do with the August Wilson piece, but
Yeah.
through 4 women. Yeah.
And there's also, we'll tease it a little bit and we won't say anything more about it, but there is, in addition to it being a great family story, there is also, there are sort of multiple layers of theatricality at play in the play simultaneously, which is as a, allowing the audience to sort of make larger discoveries about the world these people inhabit and how they relate to one another and fit into that world, I think is one of the most rewarding things about this play. And the thing that really transcends it from being sort of not just a family story, but solely a family story, to something that functions on a little bit larger, kind of touching a metaphysical scale, which is really, really interesting as a piece of theater. It was a finalist for the 2021 Pulitzer Prize, which, Zora, it's like Zora's a first-time writer, so to not only come up with this play on the first go, but to have it, receive that sort of well-deserved recognition, is really, really great. But just reflecting the real quality and depth of theatrical art that is in this play, let alone all of the richness and texture of the relationships and the cultural context you're talking about. It's just it's a really exciting piece of theater.
Yeah. And again, not to give too much away with the play, but in this play, there is this one, you're going to see yourself on stage. You're going to see, oh my gosh, that's my mom, or that's my brother, or oh my gosh, that's me. And you leave asking yourself, if I could take some moments back, what would I do different?
Mm-hmm.
Or what didn't I say that I could have said that would have maybe changed the course of something?
Yeah.
Or it makes you examine and interrogate how you speak to your siblings, or how you speak life, or sometimes even death into others. All of that, all of that, and Zora Howard has beautifully, just incorporated that in this piece. And it's not your typical play. It's not your typical kitchen drama. It is on the surface level, and then it keeps going. It keeps going. So don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Malkia said so. If you miss it, she'll be very upset with you.
I will.
You don't see her angry often, but you don't want to. It's scary. But I do, that thing you were saying about you will find yourself in the play. I mean, my it's Lillian for me, right? Like I feel so much Lillian. But also looking at Nellie and Little Mama's relationship, seeing a lot of my relationship with my little brother when we were those ages, because we're about the same age apart as those two characters. And just that sort of, the struggle for the older one to sort of assert their adulthood over the younger one, and the struggle of the younger one to try to catch up as fast as they can to that adult, and just the struggle and the conflict and the kind of messy hurt that comes from that it's really real.
Yeah. And then the younger ones, whether little cousins or eventually nieces, nephews, who watch all of that.
Yeah.
Who take that in. We talked a lot in rehearsal about, family traditions, or, oh yeah, you never do this, you never do that. And sometimes you're never even told it. You take it in, and then it becomes law.
Right. Well, and that's, as you're talking about cycles, right? If no one says that's not the thing to do, you just assume that's the thing, and you just carry it forward, and we just learn observationally. But until somebody actually steps in and says, no, we're going to make a different choice here, or I know you saw me do a thing, it's too rooted in me right now, but you still have the opportunity to make a different choice, so I'm telling you to make a different choice. I mean, all goes back to what you were saying before about those sort of fork in the road moments, right? What if, should I have said this? Should I have done that? What if I would have reached out in a different way?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
families are hard.
They are. They are. And but within a family, what's beautiful is you get to see what you could be,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to see what you are before yourself, before meaning the younger ones.
Yeah.
And from there, you can take an assessment and dream the biggest dream.
Yeah.
And you just hope you have the type of family that supports that dream, that makes space for it, or challenges you with that dream in a way that will still help you move forward and
Yeah.
making good decisions like that. That is the beauty. I think that's why family exists, whether given family or chosen family. You need someone to filter your dreams through. You
Right.
need someone to help you shape that dream, or even just your path in life. That's what family is.
And we see so much of that in this play, right? So much of it is this sort of downward teaching, right? Where everyone is sort of talking to. There's a lot of do as I say, not as I do conversations between someone and the person who is the next youngest person to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just this constant recurring theme, and that younger person wanting to make all the same choices that the older person did because they think that's the path,
Mm-hmm.
or because it seems to have worked out okay, or because they think that's the key to their sort of independence or asserting their individuality.
Yeah.
But just
Or
that. Mm-hmm.
the opposite. Oh, I'm not going to be like her,
Yeah.
or I'm going to do something totally different. I'm not being like you all. You all are all teachers. I'm going to be something else. But then not realizing you are those people. If you're a natural educator, for example,
Yeah.
if you're a natural nurturer, if you are very analytical, just like your mom, you can't escape those traits.
Yeah.
And so then running away from family or trying to reject where you come from and who you are sometimes is the boomerang that brings you right back to it.
Yep. And it's so interesting in that because you have to get out of your family to own all those traits yourself and accept them sort of on your own terms, and then that brings you right back.
Yeah.
It's so weird. All right, we got to jump off in just a couple minutes, but we should talk about this cast a little bit before we do.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Olivia Dawson. This is, I mean, having Olivia back is just amazing. I mean, forget the fact that she's a tremendous fit for this role. This is the first thing we think that Olivia has done in Milwaukee in 16 years.
We were doing the math. It's a little less.
Okay.
Definitely double digits.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to get her back, and somebody who was such a strong part of the Wisconsin theater community for so many years. To have her work back, to have just her presence in this community back, and I can't wait to see what she does with this role.
Yeah.
But talking about Lillian a little bit, Crystal Drake, who is becoming now this sort of very like ubiquitous Milwaukee, well-known, just great working actor.
Yes.
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 Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And then to be able to bring Shola Thompson up, Milwaukee native, making her MCT debut,
Yes.
is great. People would have seen her in Milwaukee in Eclipse at the Rep or out west in the Mountaintop at APT. Such a good actor. And then Milena Moore as Lil Mama. And Milena quickly growing from, a student theater artist to a real rising star and major voice in this community, not only as an actor, but as a writer and as a director. And I don't know, I find her a little offensively talented sometimes. Like if I had half a clue about what to do at however old she is as she is now, like, oh, but it's so great to have that for collection of human beings in that space. And
they are gifts. They are so amazing, and they love on each other. They've already gelled as a family, and to see the respect that they have for each other, the play the playing that they get to do with each other is amazing. And I've wanted to work with all of them. Olivia's been a long friend, and so too, and she introduced me to my husband, Chike. So she's very special to my family. And Crystal, I've known her for a while now, and so yeah, she's a star. Olivia's a star. Shola is amazing, and also a DePaul graduate like Lene, and then Milena, who I was calling the gem of the Milwaukee Black Theater Festival because she had so many different.
She did everything. What didn't she do? Like,
just keep it going with Stu. So
yeah. All right. One last question before we jump off, which I haven't asked you yet. Who right now in your life, which one of these 4 women do you feel closest to?
Oh, I'm Lillian all day.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
day.
Yeah. I thought that's where you're going to be.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yep. Lillian for sure. Crystal and I see myself in Crystal, Crystal who's playing Lillian, and you'll see. They'll see why.
It'll be a fun question for audiences on their way out of the theater. Like, which one of those was you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting. And we get to start it in 10 days because we open in 10 days. We preview in 9. You'll be ready. It'll be great. I'm so excited to share it.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. That's our time. Malkia, Stampley, thank you so much for joining us to talk about Stu, the show you're directing for Milwaukee Chamber Theater here in the Cabot Theater as of October 22nd. Get your tickets online, milwaukeechambertheater.org. You will also go on the website and find our current and most updated COVID protocols for audiences, because as much as we're keeping everybody in the creative team safe, we're doing the same thing for audiences. So yeah, check it out, and then please do come see it. I think it's going to be a really exciting production that you're going to feel really good about having seen at the end of the day.
We promise.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, friend. Have a good rehearsal.
Thank you.
See you later.
Okay.